In this class, we are going to discuss about the next concept, that is software performance. Okay, so in that we have the two concepts. One is software and another one is performance. Okay, so in that first we will go with the software, then we will go with performance. Okay, so generally the software is classified into two types. One is system software and another one is application software. Okay, so what is meant by software? Actually, software is nothing but we can call it like a collection of programs. So that's why here the software will have the two types. Now one is system program and another one is application program. Okay, we are calling like a software is a program. Okay, so actually what is meant by program? Program is nothing but it is a collection of instructions, right? We know that already. Collection of instructions. Okay, so here we have the two types now, system program and application program. So in that first we will go with the system software. So what is meant by system software? System software or application software is nothing but it's look like a software, right? So that's why we can call it like a collection of programs. Okay, so that are executed as needed to perform functions. So what are that functions? That means generally system software is a collection of programs. That programs are all executed to perform the different tasks. Okay, for example, in order to edit or run the application program, computer must have software in its memory. Okay, so whatever that running the application in the computer, compulsory the computer must have software in its memory. Okay, so whatever that application, if the system want to run any application of program, compulsory system consists of the software. That software we can call it as here system software. Okay, so now system software is a group of programs, so it executed the different actions, different functions, right? So it executed the different functions. So what are that functions? Now we'll see here. That function is nothing but receiving and interpreting user commands. Okay, so this is the first function, receiving and interpreting the user commands, and the next one is entering and editing the application program and storing as files in secondary storage devices. So first, that means it may be having the entering the information and also editing the application programs. So that means system consists of the different functions. Okay, so that may be receiving and interpreting the user commands as well as entering or editing the application program, and after entering and editing the program, so we want to store that result, right? So where we want to store that result means storing the files in secondary storage device. So what is that secondary storage device? We can call it as ROM. Okay, secondary storage device is nothing but it is having one memory. So already we know, right? Compulsory storing capacity will having the memory only. That means whatever the whatever the files we want to stored in a device means compulsory we can choose it as two memories. So that is called as RAM and ROM. Here we want the system can store the files in ROM because it is a permanent storage. Okay, so and another action is managing the storage and retrieval of files in secondary storage devices. Okay, so managing the storage, so it means it can adjusting the storage capacity, and also retrieval of files in memory. That memory is nothing but here secondary storage memory, we can represent it as ROM. Okay, and another application is running the standard application. So standard application is nothing but we can choose it here disk. So many applications we are having here. So running the disk, and the next one is controlling IO units. So that means controlling the IO units to receive input information. So that means input output units will be controlled by the system for receiving the input information, and whenever it will be receiving the input information, that means the system can control the input and output units while receiving the information. Okay, that capacity it consists, and produce output results also. So whenever it will be catching the information from the input units, that is controlled, that means control action will be there, controlling capacity will be there in its in itself, and also it produces the output results. Okay, so system software can controlling the input output units while receiving the information, and also it will be producing the output results. Okay, that is one of the action it consists, and another one is translating programs from source form prepared by the user into object form. Okay, so that means translating capacity also there in the system software, from source form to the object form. Source form is nothing but we can represent it as input to the output. That means we can represent it as source to, that means input to destination part, that means input to output part. Okay, so the what are the functions it consists? System software means in itself it consists as receiving the information and interpreting the commands, entering and editing the application program. After that, whatever the result it got, so that will be stored in particular storage capacity we have in the system, that is ROM. And the next one is adjusting the storage capacity also there in that, and retrieval of files in the secondary storage, and also running the standard application. So that means it will be running the disk capacity, and also controlling the, while receiving the input information, it will be control the input output units, and also producing these output results. And the next one is translating the programs from one form to the another form. Okay, so these are the actions it consists, system software. Okay, so and also it will be consist of different functions. Now we'll see that. So this system software consists the major functions here. One is a library programs, okay, and translators, and another one is operating system. So just now I explained here running the standard application, right? So that standard application, such as here we can represent it as a disk, or we can represent it as a games and spreadsheets, word processor, etc. And also it manages the storage space in magnetic disk. Okay, so here we have the translating programs. Now how to translate here means it will be translating from one form to the another form is nothing but we can represent it as here. One form is machine level language to the high level language. Okay, so that means we can represent it as translating the high level language to the low level language. That low level language we can call it as here machine level language. Okay, so and now what are the high level languages means here? These high level languages we can represent it as C, C++, Java, or etc. Okay, so and now we will see what are the system softwares it consists means. The system software consists generally library programs, translators, okay, and somehow we are having utility programs also there, utility programs, and one more thing we have operating system. This we can call it as OS. Okay, so in that what are the library programs are, that means what is the library program means, in that library programs are used to run the user commands only. Okay, so it will be run the user programs. Okay, so translators, coming to the translators is nothing but here translator we are calling like assemblers and compiler and interpreters. Okay, these are called, we can these are all called as translators. Translator is nothing but we can translating one form to the another form. Okay, so in that what is assembler actually? Assembler is used to convert assembly language to the machine level language. Okay, so it will be convert assembly language to the machine level language. Now coming to the compiler. So compiler is used to convert high level language to the machine level language. Okay, so when it will be convert high level language to machine level language means before the execution of code. Okay, so before the execution of code or program. Okay, so compiler can convert the high level language to the machine level language before the execution of program only it will be convert. Okay, now coming to the interpreter. Okay, interpreter can convert the again same thing, that is high level language to the machine level language, but when the program is run. When the program is run. So whenever the program is run, in that case only high level language is converted to the machine level language. That is the action of interpreter. Okay, so coming to the utility program. Utility programs is nothing but system utilities, are generally we can call it as a disk compressions, disk fragmenters, disk cleaners, that all called as the utility programmers. Okay, so now coming to the operating system, the general information about OS. Okay, now we will remind here. Operating system is nothing but it is a large program which contains several programs. That means it contains the several functions. Okay, so now let us see how operating system is used to run the application software. Now we'll see here. Okay, so this operating system will run the application software or application program. Now we will see how it will be run that application software. Okay, so operating system is nothing but it is a large program or collection of routines. Routines is nothing but we can call it as like a different functions. Okay, so that is used to control the computer units. Okay, OS is also having the controlling capacity of computer units. Okay, so now functions of OS. What are the routines it consists? Means first, assign resources to individual application program. Okay, so for each individual application program it will be provided some resources. Okay, and assign memory and magnetic disk space to program. So first assign the memory and also magnetic disk space to program. So for memory we can store the program, it will be assigned the memory for magnetic disk space to program and data files. So for data files, storing capacity of data files, and that means whatever the data it consists and whatever the programs it consists, for that it will be assigning the some memory. Okay, OS will just having the some space in memory. That means it will be creating the some space for storing the programs and data files. Next one is move the data between the memory and disk unit. So OS can move the data from memory to the disk. And next, handless IO operation will have input output operation. Without handless it will be consist. Okay, so now we'll see here. Let us see the steps involved in running the application program by the operating system. So just now I explained now. So let us see how operating system is used to run the application software. So this is the diagram we'll having for running the application software in operating system. Okay, so here system, it consists one processor, one disk, one printer. Okay, so one disk, one printer and one processor it consists. Okay, now let us see what are the steps it's involved in the application. It's involved in running the application program by the operating system. Okay, so first here, whatever the application program we are having, that will be converts or it translates the high level language to the machine level language. So first the OS will having the software now. So that software can help to divide the program into high level language to the machine level language. Okay, so whatever the program it consists in operating system, that will be converted in high level language to the low level language. Okay, so after that the application program in the form of machine codes. Okay, now after converting, the output will be represented in which language? So that is machine codes, right? So this machine codes will stored in disk. Okay, so after converting the program into machine codes, then directly it will be stored in disk. Okay, so initially in the first step at T0 time interval, okay, at T0 the operating system loads the application program on the disk. Okay, so first conversion is completed. So after converting the machine codes at T0 period, it directly stored in disk to the memory until the transfer of operation is completed. So here the transfer of operation is completed. So whenever the data transfer is completed, now the user program issues a request signal to the OS. Okay, it will be raise the one control signal. That means it will be send the one request signal to the OS to perform the execution of that application program. Okay, so after translating is completed, once the translating is completed, no, so at that time the OS will raise the one control signal. That means it will be issues the one control signal to perform the execution of that application program. So after storing the memory, after storing that machine codes in disk, no, so then only it will be execution is started. Okay, so now OS sends the command. What the command means? That means execution control to the processor. Okay, so now the processor perform the operation. What operation it perform? So execution operation will perform. So we can say the processor executes the application program. Okay, so first it will be convert the high level language to the machine level language. After that, this machine codes will stores in disk. Okay, it will be stores in disk. Okay, so after that, again the OS will issues the request signal. Okay, it will be issues the one request signal for execution operation. Okay, so after that, so OS will send the one command for execution operation. Okay, so now the processor will perform the execution operation. No? So we can say that the processor executes the application program during the time period T1 to T2. So in this period, the execution is completed. Okay, so after completion of that program, or we can say whenever the result is ready to print, then the OS sends acknowledge to the user program. Okay, so after execution is completed means the result is ready, right? So whenever the result is ready, then automatically the OS will send the command to the printer. Okay, so now the user program sends the request to the operating system to perform the print operation. Okay, so after execution, then we'll go with the print operation. So operating system sends the print command to the processor for performing the printing operation. Okay, so now processor will perform the printing operation at the time period T4 to T5. So in this T2 to T3, it will be send the command, that is print command. Okay, the print command will be sent in this time period T2 to T3. So after that, the OS will send the printer command to the T4 to T5, and in this period the printing operation will be completed. So in this duration, OS loads the another application program to running also. So that means operating system loads the another application program while executing the current application program. Nothing but multi-programming or multitasking will done. Okay, so first the program will be convert high level language to the machine language with the help of OS. Then the OS will be send that higher machine codes for storing machine codes to the disk for storing information. Okay, so after that the OS will send the one request